If I lean forward, it's like, oh, mama has no clothes on. Naked? Oh, no, she's not. Naked? Oh, no, she's not. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to do this beautiful rosy glowy summer look, and I haven't done just like a real just sit down in-depth tutorial in a while, so I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do, I hope you'll give me a big thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing before you go and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. It helps me so much when you guys do these things. You have no idea, and sharing the video with your friends and family also helps out a ton. So if you want to see how I got this look, please keep watching. I'm gonna go ahead and incorporate two looks into one, I think, but I am going to focus on that rosy, glowy summer look right here that you guys all happen to love so much on my Instagram stories. But I did this past weekend go to a pool party for one of our good friends, and it was sweltering. Eric wasn't able to go with me because he was in Orlando watching the World Cup game with some of his buddies. So I had my mom and dad come with me because both of the kids, well, Parker can't swim at all, and Grayson, he can swim, but he's not the best. My parents came and they helped. And while my dad is always like super sweet and he does notice, you know, if you have a new outfit on, he doesn't really notice makeup. I'm filming.
Yeah, well, I need you for a second.
Okay, what's going on?
No idea.
I thought we weren't having any big expenses this month. Love you, bye. Apparently, Eric's car started shaking. His check engine light came on. He drove it to the dealership. Thank God he wasn't that far away from it, and it promptly died in the parking lot. So we might need to buy a new car. Anyways, back to the pool party and my dad. He isn't typically the kind of guy that's going to comment or notice makeup, but he was like, your makeup just looked so pretty. And personally, I think that it was my skin. I think it was the way that I prepped my skin. I knew it was gonna be hot and I was gonna be sitting in the sun, so I definitely did go through some extra measures to make sure my makeup stayed. And I'll talk you through what I did as I go through and do it. I'm also gonna be trying some new products, but if I use anything different today, I'll go ahead and tell you what I used on the day of, just for reference. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first thing that I did was go in with the Becca Liquid Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this is in the shade Champagne Pop. And you guys, I just lathered this on. I was like, it'll look so good with my sunscreen. So I kind of like popped some on my shoulder here, and then just kind of rubbed it in. And if you don't want it to be so shimmery, like you can just use it in the areas that you want it, or you can mix it with a lotion, but I was like, I'm just gonna go to town. When you're sitting out in the sun, oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. And especially after you spray a spray sunscreen on, it looks really good. Okay, so now that I've done every single step within my skincare routine, I am going to go in with this Glossier Invisible Skin Shield. I found this product because I was looking for a dupe for the Murad Invisibler. I love that product, but it's pricey, and if I didn't have to spend that kind of money, then I didn't want to. I wouldn't call it an exact dupe, but it has a nice slip to it. It doesn't have that same feeling as a regular sunscreen. It is a broad spectrum sunscreen with a protection of 35 SPF. It doesn't have all of the skincare benefits, I don't believe, as the Invisibler, but it's the right price. It works well with my makeup, and a lot of times I don't really love sunscreens because it gets greasy, and especially the more you wear it. When you first put it on, especially like if you swatch it on your hand, like it just looks greasy and shiny. but I have worn it throughout the day with no makeup and with makeup, and when you give it a second, it does dry into the skin a bit. All right, and now I have my new favorite primer. This is from The Ordinary. It's their High Spreadability Fluid Primer. Now, it did take a minute for me to get used to the formula because it is like, if you look, I'm gonna drop it. Like, it's pretty like, that's liquidy. However, when it goes on your skin, it is so lightweight, so flawless. There's nothing that I could compare this to. And you guys know me, when it comes to my makeup, especially like a summer look, I'm going to spend the most amount of time on my skin, because really and truly, I think in the summertime when you're out at the pool or the beach or whatever, I mean, granted, not everybody's gonna be wearing like makeup to the beach or the pool, but in a situation like this, it was a birthday party and I was surrounded by people I don't get to see that often. I wanted to make sure that I was looking good and I was looking my best and feeling my best. And that's the thing about makeup. You don't do it for anybody else, but if it makes you feel good and it gives you confidence, then go for it, girl. Now, this is quickly becoming a holy grail for me. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for a Superstar Youth Glow. I think it is intended to be just like a primer, but I personally don't want my whole face to have as much of a glow as this bad boy gives. I love the applicator. It's really reminiscent to me of the Shape Tape doe foot applicator, so you can like really get it on there. And I like to put it like right where my highlight would go. And using the butt side of my beauty sponge, I bring it, you'll notice, I bring it all the way under my eyes. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but the reflective pearls, I'm assuming it's reflective pearls in there. I haven't really done a whole lot of product knowledge research on that product. I just really like it. Whatever it is, I really like it. But the reflectiveness of it helps diminish the look of darkness under your eyes. It did not in any way, shape, or form make my concealer crease on me. I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Shape Tape, and this is in the shade Light. And I'm actually going to kind of just do a little bit where I need it there. And then I know this seems so crazy, but I am going to kind of put enough, like, I don't want a ton up under my eyes, but I am going to just ever so slightly, almost because I have all of that sunscreen on, work it into the sunscreen, almost like a tinted moisturizer look is what you're gonna get doing it like this. Day of, I used MAC Fix Plus. I know it, it's tried and true. I recently got this Colourpop Amber Crystal Setting Spray. So I'm just gonna spray my sponge, make sure it is nice and saturated, and just kinda work it in now. But the trick here is I want to have like a really light layer. I know you shouldn't be feeling it. It shouldn't look cakey. It shouldn't even look, in my opinion, like a foundation. It looks more like this veil, and I'm going to spread that up onto my eyelids as well. Now, typically when I'm doing just like my everyday makeup, I like to do one eye at a time so it doesn't have time to settle. Since I've been doing this technique of spraying my sponge with setting spray, I've found, I don't know if it doesn't dry down as fast, but it hasn't really been creasing up on me, and I can do my whole face, and I feel like it's just faster when I do it that way. And now I'm going to try my Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder, and I went ahead and grabbed the translucent shade. Curious to see how this works. Day of, I used my RCMA powder. I like how this setting powder is applying. Wow, okay. We'll see how that holds up throughout the day, but that looks really good. It's nice and soft. I'm gonna go ahead and set my eyes with that Colourpop setting powder as well. Just kind of pressing it in, trying to keep it as light as possible. Shout out to Pure Cosmetics. Happy birthday. The company just turned 16, so this is their Sweet 16 packaging they came out with for the 4-in-1 powder that you guys know I love. I am going to apply this a little differently than normal. I'm going to use my Luxie, what do they call this? Duo Fiber Powder Brush, number 516. I've been loving it, especially if I'm going to go in and put a layer of concealer on. This just like pushing it in and kind of going in circular motions the way I would with the chisel brush, but I feel like it gives me a lighter application, but I still get coverage out of it, a little bit more coverage than I would get using just a big fluffy powder brush, but I feel like it looks nice and natural. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows off camera because they take way too long, and I will be back with a fresh set of brows. All right, so now the moment you've all been waiting for, eyeshadow. And I talked about this in my last video, the NYX Multitasker Mixing Medium. Holy cow. I am going to use it as a base for my entire eyelid. I was like, if I get wet, pool, I want my eyeshadow to stay. So I'm gonna take a very little bit and just kind of dab it onto both eyes and just kind of pounce it out because we do have concealer on already. When you do it like this, it does not mess anything up. It looks good still. Now I'm just going to dip right into my Pure 4-in-1 powder and just kind of use it as an all over shade. And one thing that's really nice about this powder is there is an SPF in it, and a lot of times we forget about our eyelids, and you want to make sure that you are giving some sun protection to your eyelids, and this is a good way to do that. Now we're gonna go into the original Jaclyn Hill palette she did in collaboration with Morphe, and I've had so many people say, oh my gosh, how does it look so brand new still? And it's like, guys, this thing gets used and beaten up, and all you have to do is take a makeup wipe and just wipe it, and it cleans up so nicely. The first shade I want to dip into is this one right here, MFEO. Oh, hello, Zoom. We're just gonna place this into the crease. And MFEO, it is just a little bit like peachier, warmer than Silk Cream. That's the color right next to it that everybody's like, oh, they're so similar. I mean, I appreciate having both. I like loved just blending this shade down with this big brush, like right under my eye. Like, it looks a little crazy at first. If you don't like it as smoked out, then just don't smoke it out as much. And that, by the way, was my, what brush was that? My Morphe M441, just any big fluffy blending brush will do. Now I'm going to go into the exact same shade with a bit of a smaller brush, and you'll see that it already looks much darker. And this is the Morphe M433, and it has so much more color payoff now, I think, because we used that NYX mixing medium. Like, typically this shade doesn't show up that much on my skin, but because we use that NYX mixing medium, it has so much more richness to it. The colors of all my eyeshadows look really rich when I use it. So now I'm gonna just look up the same way we did before and just get right under the lash line. Next, I'm gonna keep the same brush, the Morphe M433, and we are gonna go into Pooter right here. And I just really lightly dipped into that because I want this to look extremely blown out. I'm just taking it all across the lid here. Same thing on the other eye. So you can see it just added a little bit more depth, and I'm gonna go under the eye too. I'm gonna stay a little bit tighter up to the lash line here. Real light, like real light. I'm gonna go into my Mikasa E310 pencil brush. You guys know I absolutely just love this brush to kind of deepen up the crease, but have it diffused looking, if that makes sense, as well as getting up under the lash line. And now we're going to dip into the shade right here, and it's called Buns. And this is where we start to get that rosy look. And then I'm gonna V it down. So the goal at this point is you don't want to see where buns starts and MFEO begins. Like you want it to be nice gradient looking effect. So if you just have to sit there and blend, sit there and blend. Take your time with it. If you want to have a nice smoked out look, it's going to look effortless. It's not effortless though, girl. You got to blend. Now I'm just switching up my brush to my Luxie Flat Definer Brush number 221. And I'm going back into buns and I'm going right up under my eye. But I'm making sure that I kind of am soft-handed with it because I don't want to see a straight up line. I just want it to be soft and effortlessly darkest the closest I get to my lash line. But now kind of see I'm like kind of flicking. I'm going a little lower and flicking upwards, and then I'm going to just shimmy it down. And I will go back in and blend that out with more of a blending style brush. So I did take a little bit of buns on my Mikasa pencil brush, and I'm just kind of going in and blending. And then I'm going to go in, making sure we're connected up in the top from like this area to this area. We want it to be a seamless transition. Now I'm going to go into SBN, aka Smoky But Not, and I'm gonna go in actually with my finger, but I'm not going to take a lot because we went in with that mixing medium and it picks up so much product even under the shadows that we've applied, and I don't want it to be crazy. And I'm going, because I'm gonna layer another shade over top of this, but I'm just gonna concentrate on this outer section of my lid here. Now I'm going to grab Sissy, the shade Reta. So we're gonna tap Sissy kind of like in the middle over top of SBN. And then we're going to grab Little Lady and start working that in to the inner corner just a bit more. And now that most of that is off of my finger, I'm gonna just kind of blend it across. Now in the innermost corner, we're gonna go into Faint. And when I'm doing my fingertip for the inner corner, I mean, not like the inner corner highlight, but like the innermost part of the corner of your eye. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. I like to like look in the other direction. It helps stretch the skin out. And then I'm gonna use my pinky. So I'm gonna look in this direction, if this makes sense, taking my pinky and looking that way. And now this has become a new favorite shade of mine right here, this one, Obsessed. I'm going to go and take that, kind of pop it close to my lash line in the center, and then kind of upward. Sorry, I'm flicking you guys off, I know. It gives like this nice forward focused effect to your lid. And now I'm just gonna go back into buns. And this is a teenier detail brush. You could use that pencil brush again if you don't have as many brushes. I happen to have 500,000 because this is what I do. And this is the Crown Pro C528 brush. I've really been loving this to go back in, and when you've lost a little bit of definition, you can just really kind of get in there nice and precise. I like that. And just dragging under. I'm going back in right now with a little bit more of Sissy just on this outer corner of my eye. Like it's just getting a little lost. Okay, and then up under the eye, I'm gonna go back in with my Luxie Definer brush again. Make sure I'm just wiping it on my pants, making sure it's clean. And I'm gonna go into Faint. Pop it right in the inner corner here. And then I'm gonna dip into Sissy one last time. And I think Sissy, really, I like it with my finger the best. I'm not gonna use eyeliner. I'm gonna use a combination of these two shadows. I'm gonna use this shade right here, the black shade called Abyss, on the most outer part of my eye, and then I'm going to pop into Central Park. And Central Park, I'm gonna meet up kind of in the middle and take it to the innermost corner of my eye. Now popping into Central Park, or Central Perk, hello friends reference, Central Park. The camera might not pick up the difference of the black and that brown, but in person, it's just like, now get back into Abyss, the black, and I'm just gonna tight line that black section to further that. All right, so I'm gonna save my mascara for the end because I find when I set my makeup, when I have my mascara on, I have to just like sit like this and stare straight forward. Otherwise, I just make a mess with my mascara. It gets everywhere. So this is how I've been doing it lately. I'm just gonna clean up my waterline. When you have any kind of a shadow on your lid, that is a bit of like a red undertone, like buns, sissy, all of those kind of have the red, pink undertones. So you want to make sure you put something in your waterline to brighten it up. Otherwise, you might end up looking a little sickly. So this just makes such a difference. To bronze, I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder, and this is in the shade medium. This was just like one of those grab and goes that I got at Sephora. I think it's totally worth it. It has lasted me forever. I'd never tried the actual sculpting powder, so I didn't want to invest in it. And this little bad boy I think is like 25 bucks. So if you want to try it but you don't want to spend all your pennies, then I would suggest trying this out. I'm gonna go in with my Morphe M523, and I've kind of been like really kind of going in like this lately. So just looking at the top of your ear and going about halfway down and then blending from there. And then what's left on my brush, I'm kind of getting up here. And I will go in with some more bronzer and get the perimeters of my face. Oh, hi earring. This gives like a much thinner looking face because guys, I've put on like 15 pounds recently and it's really sad. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with bronzer. I'm gonna use an oldie, but such a goodie. I just love it for summer. It's the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and it's the light bronzer. That's the shade I use. It just smells like heaven. And I know this seems a little bit crazy, but I'm going in with the Luxie tapered highlighter brush to bronze. This seems like a really small brush to bronze with, but I can kind of concentrate it where I want it. So I'm just blending out almost the contour that we did into this really pretty bronze look. I'm just kind of going up into the perimeter of the side of my temple here. So you kind of see that just the center of my face just kind of comes forward now a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense. And then kind of coming down here. All right, now for blush, I'm going to do the Benefit Rocketeur. And this is just such a pretty glowy, rosy, I don't know, like spring and summer go-to blush for me. Last month, I would have used that Luxie brush to do blush even and this to do my bronzer, but I am loving this brush. I got it in BoxyCharm last month. It's the Aesthetica P12 brush, and I just think it gives such a pretty, like, effortless blush look. Like, it's not like a boom blush in your face. Like, it's just so pretty. This blush smells so good too, you guys. Oh my god. I'm supposed to be hitting pan on this for Project Pan, and I'm failing at my Project Pan. With the exception of like my brow products and my concealer, I'm like legit failing. For highlighter, I'm gonna go in with my Fenty Kilowatt highlighter, and this is in the shade Hustler Baby. I went and I got, if they still have it, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. They had this like minis to go, this highlighter with the Glossy Bomb lip gloss, and it was, for me, I felt like the way to go because I feel like I have so many highlighters and glosses, I never use them all. So that's what I did. Now, I feel like not everybody will need to do this. I'm just so pale that I find this to be a little gold for me. I love the color and I like doing this little mixture. I'm gonna show you in a second. Let me just put a little down the center of my nose and then put a little bit on my shoulders. I think it looks really pretty on my shoulders where I have a little bit more color because of my freckles. On my face though, I don't know. That might just be me. And I just realized that I am still zoomed in super close. Let's back her out a little bit. What do you say? All right, now I'm not so in your face and you can kind of see everything a little bit easier. But I feel like it pops so much more on my shoulders than it does up here. So I've been mixing it with my Makeup Forever Starlit powder in the shade 13. This stuff is, oop, this isn't number 13. Let me go grab 13. This is the wrong one. This is the shade 13. It's so pretty. I love these. They're just such a mess though. I hate the componentry. There's no sifter. It's just a hole. I think I've said that before, but whatever. Just dip, since there's so much product on the outer edge, like I literally just dip onto this part and I'm just gonna go right over this. Like, whew, you can already see that, huh? Yeah. I just think it's such a pretty combination. Look at this side and look at this side. Just pops. I'm gonna leave my shoulders as is. I like the way it looks. I kind of like the golden feel to it. And then just whatever's left. I'm gonna pinch my brush and just go down the center of the nose with that Makeup Forever powder. And then I'm going to also use that for inner corner highlight. And then what's left, I'm just gonna do on the highest part of my arch there. I'm gonna go ahead and set everything and then I will do my mascara and come back to do my lips. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a lip combo. City Lips City Beauty was nice enough to send over a bunch of these plumping lip glosses for me to try out and I am loving them. I will put all of the products that I used in the description box down below, so don't worry about that. This one is in the shade Dusty Rose and then this is in the shade Peachy Pink. These, you guys, are so pretty. First, I'm gonna apply this all over and then I'll do the Peachy Pink just in the center. I have not dipped back in to the bottle at all. And now here's the Peachy. Like, they're just so opaque. All right guys, so here is the final look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. This is something I love doing, tutorials. They don't generally get a ton of views and that's fine just because I like doing them. I hope you guys did learn something from this. And yes, there were bits and pieces that were a little bit extra, and if you guys don't have all of these products, it doesn't mean that you can't dupe it out or just do what you want with it. Just take it as inspiration and make it your own. If you did like it, please give me a big thumbs up. Be sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. And if you are not subscribed, I hope you will consider subscribing before you go. It really means the world to me when you guys do hit that button. So thank you so much and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys, bye. We belong together. Ooh, there goes my earring.